Let me try to put TATTOOGATE to you plainly. This might be old news to some of you listening, but I figure if Katie hadn't heard about it.
I hate to say it, but it's kind of genius because if somebody's going to fucking pay you that money.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Books Closed. I'm your host, Andrew Stortz, and this is the 50th episode of the show. If you can even possibly believe we've been together for 50 episodes, it's really great. And while you still have your grubby little hands either on your computer, your cellular telephone, your tablet, whatever it may be, your Kindle, make sure you're subscribed to the show. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and while you're at it, give a 5-star review, a thumbs up, whatever it takes. That stuff really helps. It goes a long way in making sure that new people find the show and that you don't miss future episodes. This episode is a very fun one. I've got New York City tattooer Kati Vaughn joining me. And we talk about all sorts of stuff. You know, I like to get into the hot button tat world topic. So we talk about anesthesia tattoos. We talk about TATTOOGATE a little bit. And we also start off talking a little bit about apprenticeships, how people learn to be tattooers, how Katie learned. And my apprentice, my first and only apprentice, Kenley, also sits in with us on this episode, and we talk a bit about her experience as she gets into the tat world herself. This is the first in a batch of new episodes that I've got ready for you guys, and they will be releasing weekly over the next few weeks, so buckle up for that. And the only way that this is all possible is because of my fantastic sponsors, and this week's episode is sponsored by Tattoo Dream, DOS M, and Black Dagger Books. I'll tell you more about those folks in a little bit, but for now, let's get into it with Kati Vaughn. Hello, everybody. Long time no see. I think it's been over a year since I've done this.
Really?
So I have a lot of shit to catch up on, but maybe a lot. I don't know. I was just telling you that there's not a lot of internet tattoo drama in the past year, so maybe.
I mean, maybe not that we've found directly, but I'm sure if we dig a little bit.
Okay. Well, grab your shovel, because today I am joined by Kati Vaughn, the one and only, who is my favorite tattooer.
Lies.
Well, it's not that far off.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Regardless, I don't believe you.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, you're right.
Well, you've been working with us here at Worship Tattoo this weekend.
I have. It has been really nice. Your shop is beautiful, and I wish that I lived a little bit closer. And I also wish I didn't pick Labor Day weekend to come out.
Yeah. Tell the audience about your fantastic drive from New York.
It was quite a bit of not driving. It was a lot of coasting with all the windows down because the AC in my Jeep is broken. So we had, you know, a warm, lengthy hang with 2 dogs and 3 people and the sounds of the not coastal area until we got all the way out here.
2 sweaty dogs.
2 very sweaty, adorable dogs.
Did it smell like beef jerky in there?
Fritos mostly. Mostly Fritos, a little bit of Red Bull. Bronx has a fun dietary stipulations and many levels, so a little bit of fishiness, you know, sometimes when he pants directly at you, but...
Yeah. I know what that fish mouth is all about with dogs. I got a lot of that at home, too.
Yeah.
We got the salmon market open for business 24/7.
Oh, they love it. It's their favorite.
So, Katie, you tattoo at Good Luck
I do.
in Brooklyn, New York.
Yep, in Greenpoint.
How long have you been there?
I was trying to figure this out the other day because my concept of time is fairly inconsistent, is a nice way to put it. So we've decided it's more than 3, less than 4. I came into the shop about 6 months into them being open.
So you're OG.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely a wonderful environment to be in.
It seems like a pretty heavy crew there.
We've got a lot of heavy hitters. One of my favorite things about it is that there is 0 drama. No offense, even though we have our shovels. I know that you were hoping for something a little bit more possibly, but everybody there gets along very well. We all keep our own schedules, so we all tend to overlap in kind of better scenarios. Like we'll plan to all be in the same place at the same time. Nobody's ever in each other's way. It's finally a place with windows, because the shop that I was at prior to that, I was in a basement, and that was awful. and it's full of plants because, plants are amazing. We like those.
Yeah, that never hurts. Yeah, the basement tattoo shop is terrible.
It's really soul crushing in ways that I didn't anticipate. I thought that it would have been fine because, you can go outside whenever you want, but then you realize you're working for most of your day. And the way that I tend to arrange my schedule, I'm there for more than any other regular person tends to go about things. So I'm underground for 6 to 7 days a week.
Yeah, the days pass by quickly, especially in the wintertime when there's not very much sunlight, and then you leave and it's dark no matter what hour you finish.
Yeah, pretty much.
The shop I started at also had no windows, and it wasn't even a basement.
Really?
Yeah. What's up with that?
Not a fan.
No.
Was it a big shop?
It was pretty big. It was in a building that had a few other units, and it was in the back. So for some reason, there were no exterior walls, I guess.
No plants then?
No.
That's a rough way to be.
Yeah. Yeah, times were tough. I was too busy sweating it out as I was ruining people's bodies.
You got to start somewhere. That's a pretty normal beginning, I think, for most of us. Even if you have windows, you're just going to find the way through trial and error, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess you have to earn your windows. Maybe that's the progression.
I like that.
Well, while you were finishing your last appointment here before, we were shooting the breeze a little bit about some topics I was trying to get you to spill. And we started talking about the way in which people learn how to tattoo, which has been a hot topic on this show in the past. And I thought that I beat that dead horse bloody. But it's been a little while, and I think there's some new angles on it. So today I wanted also to bring on my friend and soon to be all of your friend, Kenley.
Hey, how's it going?
And if you're watching this on YouTube, I only have 2 cameras set up. So you're going to have to imagine what Kenley looks like, which can be a fun game.
Yeah, you can really play, add anything you want in there, really.
Yeah. She's 9'2", and she has long black hair. So that's one thing that
Size 14 shoe.
The hooves really throw you off at first, but honestly, it's been a nice little pitter-patter back and forth through the
By
shop.
day 3, you don't even notice them anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it was first day. You snuck right up on me.
So Kenley's here because she is my first and only person in this world that I have agreed to teach how to be a tattooer.
Man, and I feel super lucky and to not only be here on this podcast today, but to be your first apprentice.
Well, thank you, because it's a big deal to me. And honestly, the thought of it kind of stresses me out. And I still feel like I don't know if I'm the person to do that for anybody in this world.
Oh, you're definitely the person.
Okay.
You're a great teacher.
Okay. You don't need to say nice things here on here.
Okay.
People will not like that.
I take it back.
You started off saying nice things, so you're going to have to edit that out.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. But anyway, it's taken me this long of tattooing to feel comfortable with the idea of bringing a baby tattooer into the world. But really, it's a lot to do with Kenley being a great artist in her own right already for a long time. So it seems it's the first time somebody has asked and it made sense.
Thanks, Andrew.
So that's where we're at with Kenley. She's just very much, we're scratching the surface. She's spent the last year as the shop manager here, and she has repainted 50 sheets of Sailor Jerry Flash
So far.
to start.
My goal was 100, so I'm halfway there.
Well, and now she's on to doing some sheets of her own designs, which is very exciting. So we're making progress, and the flash is looking a lot better than it did at the beginning.
Is it 50 sheets of black and gray?
No, there's color in there.
I mean, it depends, but you could spice it up a little bit.
I guess now's the time. At 50 shades, I should spice it up now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk about learning to tattoo a little bit.
Still learning every day, which she and I were talking earlier in the midst of a tattoo, and she was telling me that she paints murals, which sounds incredible and something that I don't really have a lot of experience with, and it seems a little overwhelming because there's a lot of factors to it, which I guess obviously applies to us as well.
Yeah, same as tattooing, I would think.
Yeah, well, there's a couple little differences here and there, but
I feel like working very large scale like a mural would benefit you as a tattooer, because every tattoo will seem tiny. Because I feel like if I'm coming off of doing a bunch of very large tattoos, it makes the small ones seem very manageable.
Easily, yeah. It's nice to do little one-shots as often as I possibly can. Usually I feel like I've gotten in over my head sometimes doing large-scale work because I allow myself far too much freedom in most things. And usually if it's a bit smaller, I rein it in. Not always, though.
Do you draw on a lot of larger stuff?
I kind of take the route of I'll trace the space depending on what it is and where it's going. Like I like things to flow with the body parts and how it all kind of intersects with tattoos that are around it, and then giving me the opportunity to fill up as much space as humanly possible, even on smaller stuff. I'll trace the area, draw something for it, put the stencil on, and then 100% ignore the stencil and just tattoo is the way that it makes the most sense to me.
So you're still finding yourself in scenarios where you start to sweat a little bit?
I think, honestly, if I have to stick to my stencil, like if I'm doing something that has to be a lot more precise or exact, that's what stresses me out more. But I don't know. I didn't have an official apprenticeship. I didn't have any direct line of teaching. I had a lot of different input from a lot of different people, and it kind of translates in the way that I go about making designs or coming through with like the completion of a tattoo, because I'll just switch up what I'm doing halfway through it, which now that I know more so of what not to do, works out better in the long run. But didn't as much going back to sweating in a basement. Definitely was part of my life for a while.
Well, that's an interesting thing that you didn't have a proper apprenticeship. And I feel like most people don't. I feel like the proper traditional apprenticeship is almost a myth for most people.
I mean, maybe. I think that it depends on where you're at and who you've been exposed to. I think there are a lot of people who had a fair amount, or at least a lot of people that I know, who had a good amount of guidance or who put themselves in scenarios where it worked out well for them to approach things like the textbook traditional way to go about an apprenticeship. But then there's a lot of us who didn't have that opportunity. Like I started in tattoo shops at 17. I was a piercer. I ran shops. I built them. I did all of the things that you could possibly do in them that wasn't actively tattooing. And it was, in my mind, trying to lead me to it. But I got put in a lot of scenarios where that was not the option. Like people would tell me that they were going to teach me, or I was told that this was going to be something that could be done in the future. And obviously not necessarily the thing that they were telling me was the thing that was going to happen. And I figured that out at some point and just like branched off and literally built a space in the back of a loft that I lived in to start tattooing out of, because I was like, I'm going to figure this shit out myself.
Well, I feel like a big part of what an apprenticeship should be, you kind of would get the experience by running shops and by doing all the stuff other than tattooing, because that's like a big part of learning to do the job, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's given me a lot of perspective, but I don't know if it's necessarily like the exact caveat that you would need to be a good tattooer. I think that if I had had less of the roundabout era of it and more of like the direct knowing exactly what I was doing, I wouldn't have been so... the first thing that comes to mind is ham-handed in the beginning, but I definitely just like, took it by the horns and made it happen until, fake it till you make it. That really was the exact way that I managed to go through things.
So what do you think like the correct apprenticeship would be for somebody starting today?
I mean, I don't think that there is one correct apprenticeship, because everything is circumstantial. Everything is depending on who you are and how you go about things, how you learn, what shop you're in, how you're around people, how you make art as a whole, what your experience is with tattooing. There are too many factors for it to be just one thing. I think what you're doing now is probably a very good way to go about it in most ways. Like you chose somebody who has a background in art, who has the patience to go through working in the shop, being part of the shop, probably getting tattooed in the shop, being able to ask questions and be part of the environment that you're willing to gift to her, because that's really what an apprenticeship is you're giving somebody life skills and just a whole new life in general. I don't know. It depends on who you are and where you're at.
Yeah. I think, honestly, one of the bigger things that pushed me over the edge with Kenley is the fact that her entire body is tattooed multiple times over. And I feel like that's a massive important thing.
It does say something about, I guess, my love for tattooing and my dedication to it.
Absolutely.
Pre-existing to going into it.
There's nothing worse than a tattooer with no tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone starts somewhere, but I feel like the majority of people who seem like they're poking around asking about learning a tattoo are not tattooed very much.
You're not wrong.
So I don't know. I feel like it's different. Plus, you're not like 20 years old.
No, I'm only like 23, so.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Which really, you grow up a lot from 20 to 23.
really
so
do.
that makes me feel confident.
Those 3 years really make a huge difference, yeah.
Yeah. You're the most responsible 23-year-old I've ever met.
Also the tallest. What was 7'3"?
With the most amount of hooves.
7'9". 7'9".
Yeah. Yeah, I actually do have a third camera, but I can't fit.
All of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't know how to say it. I don't
That's
know the
what she
words that wouldn't sound rude.
That's what she said.
So, Katie, would you ever teach someone how to tattoo? Do you think that that's in the cards for you in your future, ever?
There has been one scenario where I discussed this with a friend of mine who is also very heavily tattooed. She and I have known each other for a very long time. She is also an artist. She paints, she sculpts, she does a lot of really incredible things. And we talked about the possibility of me bringing her into working in tattoo shops and seeing if that's something that she would want to do. And it didn't necessarily, it never like fizzled out or turned into something that wasn't an active conversation. It just wasn't anywhere near the point where either of us were able to go through with that in our lives. For me, I think that it would be an interesting learning experience. I think teaching people and talking to people and like walking them through scenarios teaches you a lot about yourself and a lot about what you're doing. I don't think at this point in my life I would want an apprenticeship because my day-to-day is very much my own, and I think that it's definitely a relationship that you form and probably a pretty lengthy one. I don't know. Maybe I would know better if I was approached in a way that made sense to me, but at this point in life, I don't want kids. I feel like that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I do think that it's just about having the right person to make you feel differently about it. And until that happens, you're probably you're not on fire to teach someone how to tattoo.
No, not at all.
Yes. Andrew, I have a question because I feel like, I guess maybe I've never asked this before, but before I came along, did you think to yourself like, oh, I'm never going to have an apprentice? Like that's not a thing that's in the cards or not a thing that I'm looking to do?
Yeah.
Or you thought that like fully?
Yeah, definitely. I also said I never wanted to own a tattoo shop. So I'm just a fucking liar, I guess.
Look at you now.
I know. These things just happen sometimes. Yeah, I never thought that I would. But again, it's like meeting the person that you can actually picture it being something successful is what changes my outlook on it.
So you feel successful. So you feel like you're going to succeed in all of these endeavors.
Oh, I know. Kenley's going to be the best tattooer ever.
Excellent.
She's going to be better than me in 1 year.
Give me three, at least, or maybe 5, maybe 20.
It is funny, though, even just as far into it as we are at this point, it's interesting to realize that I don't know why I do a lot of the things that I do as far as drawing or tattooing. And it's interesting to try to break it down and explain it when I don't really think about the intention behind a lot of it.
I do feel like I have a lot of questions.
That's good.
Yeah.
You should always have questions.
I do.
Yeah. You should always be kind of clawing for more information,
Yeah.
which I think you are.
Yeah. I mean, Katie mentioned this morning when we were talking about asking questions. I feel like I do ask a decent amount of questions, but you had said earlier, Katie, like, no question is stupid. Like, ask.
Yeah, I mean,
Always ask.
I did actively say that no question is stupid. Some questions are very stupid, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't ask them, because if you don't know the answer to it, then you're just going to perpetuate the thing that is keeping you from progressing in any way by holding yourself back like that.
This episode is sponsored by Tattoo Dream. Have you ever wished you could bring all of your reference and sketchbooks with you wherever you went? The tools from Tattoo Dream allow you to do just that with their Procreate stamp brushes, digital flash, and downloadable books. Don't worry if your walls are already full or if your bag's a little too heavy. Let your iPad do the heavy lifting and load it up with all the reference a tattooer could ever need. You will have access to unlimited design elements whether you're at the shop, at home, or on the road. Everything on TATTOODream.com is designed by a collective of the world's leading tattooers, including Paul Dobelman, Danny Derrick, Valerie Vargas, Austin Maples, Tony Nilsson, and many, many more. Tattoo Dream also has streamable seminars. They cover the topics of drawing, painting, and photography, so you can continue to expand your knowledge base. Once you've enrolled in a course, you can take your time at your own pace on your own schedule. Head over to TATTOODream.com today to see for yourself. And I'm having some tattoo dreams of my own right now. This episode is also sponsored by Black Dagger Books. Every month, they release a book that features the artwork of a different tattooer. These are jam-packed from cover to cover with art from some of the hardest working artists in the community. You'll see some of your favorite artists featured, as well as learning about some new ones that will blow your mind. Finishing up their 4th year, we've seen books from Freddie Corbin, Chad Keplinger, Chris Marchetto, Heather Bailey, Marie Senna, and the list just keeps going on and on. The best part is that these are available as a subscription. For only $25 a month, you get the new issue shipped to your doorstep. It's inspiring. It's supporting other artists. It's a tax write-off for you tattooers. But really, it's a celebration of the art and tattooing, and it's leaving a mark as one of the coolest collections in our culture right now. And this is a very easy message for me to deliver to you because I have bought probably every book that Black Dagger Books has made. One artist per book, one book per month. Sign up today and never miss out at blackdaggerbooks.com. And the final sponsor for this episode is DOS M. Are you a tattooer who feels like you're trying to swim upstream on social media? Every time you post, it's like screaming down an empty tunnel that no one hears. DOS M specializes in solving all the headaches that come with running a business. Any headache, whether it's getting more of the kind of clients you want most, staying in control of your emails and booking, for shop owners, finding artists to fill your shop. There's never been a problem that DOS M couldn't help with. They will bring custom-tailored skills and experience to whatever your situation is. We always hate to see clients getting poor work done by unskilled tattooers. Well, you most likely aren't an expert on fine-tuning the SEO on your website, you old fart. Those are my words, I'm just trying to make this fun. But you understand my point. It's time to get an expert involved. It's all going down right now at digitaltattooers.com. And because you're a lovely listener of Books Closed, DOS M is offering a free consultation to see what they can do for you, which normally has a $500 value. From there, just mention this episode of the podcast and you'll get $1,000 of credit towards their services. And on top of all of that, if you enroll from now until the end of 2023, DOS M is going to give you 50% off the price of all of their services. Sign up for your free consultation and take control of your business. digitaltattooers.com. Thank you, DOS M, for sponsoring this episode.
In that conversation we were having earlier, I used to work at a shop that was very prevalent, lots of really, really incredible tattooers, and this was prior to me. Like, I'd done one tattoo on myself, but at that point I was piercing and managing and had no, there was not me actively tattooing in sight for another few years. And I would walk around and watch everybody work. And I wanted so bad to know what I was looking at. And I had so many questions, and there was no point that I was brave enough to be like, what the fuck is this? Where is this? How is this? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it like this? And everybody worked so differently, but it was such a cool thing to be able to see what they were doing. And I don't know, at the time, I just didn't know what I was looking at.
How do you think, where did the feeling of not being brave enough to ask a question come from? Do you think that you knew enough to respect it that maybe you shouldn't be asking, or were you what was that feeling based in?
I don't know, probably a difficult upbringing. Usually if you go deep into things like that, like not being able to put yourself forward and dive into some things, it's because maybe you weren't given the opportunity to know that that was an option, which I think was part of it. I was telling her earlier that I have had a lot of difficult moments where I don't ask. Even now, like I'm 11 years in tattooing, and I just, for the first time recently, watched one of my coworkers do a tattoo entirely with a single needle, and I'd never tried it before because I was uncomfortable not wanting to fail at it, I guess. Like in some scenarios you're okay just diving into something and then figuring it out all the way around. But I feel like I've done that for so long because I didn't have guidance for so long that now I'm surrounded by so many amazing people that I'm like, finally to a point where I'm like, what the fuck is that? How do you do this? What is happening? Why does this work like this? Like, show me what's up. And having the time experience behind it has been an interesting way to go about things.
Do you feel like your coworkers have those conversations amongst each other as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody constantly, like, it's one of my favorite things is like walking over, seeing what somebody's doing, where they're at in the progression of things when you're done with what you're working on for the day, and wanting to see what they, like somebody, like the way that the shop is set up is there are 2 different rooms. There's like a hallway on either side. And, it depends on the day. It depends on how busy you are. It depends on what it is. But like in some scenarios, you're like, all right, come with me. I'm going to show, like, I want you to, somebody else to see this. Like, fucking let me know what's up. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a really good way to go about, I don't know, just living in progression and like being excited about what you're doing and what everybody around you is doing.
And I feel like at a certain point in your career, that's kind of like the biggest motivator to work at a particular shop is to find environments like that where you're actually going to be able to continue to grow, because it's easy to get stagnant sometimes. I feel like when I first started, I would always read in interviews that people would say the 10-year mark is when you like finally start to figure it out a little bit.
Nope.
So I was always just waiting to hit that day, and I thought I was going to wake up and just know how to tattoo finally.
How many years have you been tattooing?
15. I do think that around 10 years, something did change, though. Did you feel anything like that at any point?
I definitely feel as if you reach different, like, you hit, at one point we joked around and called it leveling up, where like you figure something out, or you feel a certain way about what you're doing and how you're going about it, where you feel like you level up a little bit and you're like, yeah, this is fucking sick. Like, I'm on it. I know why this is working and how this is working, and everything feels good. And then the temperature changes outside and your machines start running weird, and you have a moment where you question everything, and it goes back into reevaluating, all the things around you, which I think is important because it's how you progress. I think that it's, I don't know, the same thing as figuring out what, like, the way to learn works best for you is everything is kind of circumstantial. So you might get to that point in your head and everything is smooth sailing, and then you are able to reevaluate it at a different point and possibly bump yourself up a little further, a little longer. You talk to somebody new and they give you a new perspective. You work at a different shop and you're exposed to new people, and that makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. I like learning the stuff where once you figure it out, you feel like you can't believe that you ever tattooed before that one morsel of knowledge that you're like, I don't know how I tattooed last week, because now I'm a pro. I'm going pro.
Oh, you're pro already? Fuck.
Well, I've been considering it. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing these for a living.
I think that's it's risky. I say it's a little risky, but
yeah,
if you're feeling it, just dive.
I mean, my parents think I work at the mall still. I don't have the heart to tell them. I got to hit this camera. Hold on. I just heard it turn off in your last.
Is it my camera?
I think it might be.
Please be my camera. I like the idea of having the visual stunt double. Oh, I can't even hear the peanut
If
gallery.
anyone says anything particularly poignant, you'd be like, yeah! Yeah!
I didn't get a clap for That's What She Said earlier?
Right.
Fuck.
I'll give it to you now, Katie. I'll give it to you now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We do have a live audience here tonight, folks.
Hello.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's so nice to see all of you.
Woo, woo, woo! So it might get a little rowdy
Take your clothes off.
once Kenley starts talking shit.
We hope it gets a little rough.
As soon as Kenley gets naked, everybody's going to be having
my
a
God.
great time.
Well, the camera's not on me, so I have nothing to worry about.
I would be mortified.
Mortified.
It'd make things a little awkward around
I would
here.
be very excited.
We'll wait till Andrew leaves.
I would leave. I would tell you guys how to turn the recording off.
You can
and
just
I would,
go. We can continue this without you.
That would be my dream, to figure out how to
Yeah.
make this podcast, and I don't even have to be part of it.
That would be, honestly, yeah. Passive income is really ideal, especially when it comes to flagrant nudity.
That's very good point. But maybe this is a good segue into AI tattoos.
AI tattoos.
But let me just tickle your ass with a feather because I want to bring this full circle here, and I want to ask you, Kenley, how do you feel about things right now after 1 year working at the shop, as far as what you're looking out onto as far as being a new tattooer in the world?
I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm everything. I'm like nervous, but I'm also so excited. I feel like this has been something that I've wanted for a long time, and that this is like my opportunity. And to be doing this here at Worship with you, like all of it is exciting. But I know it's going to be hard. But almost kind of like what Katie said before, it's like even when things get challenging, that's a good like learning opportunity. So I want to fail at some things, or I want to almost not be, I want to have a challenge and learn from it and get better, because all I want to do is like do this and do it well.
So you're saying that it's easy so far?
Yeah.
Andrew, you're
So
doing
basically
something
it's just
wrong.
really easy. Yeah. No,
It's easy.
it's been hard. I mean, I love hearing what everyone has to say about everything, my paintings, just how things are running, how things should go. It's all really valuable.
I give you the best advice, right?
You give me great advice.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you give
She
me
did
great
not
advice.
say the best. She said great.
You give me the best advice, Andrew.
I have given her the best advice, and I've only been here for, I don't even know how many days. It's been a couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see like the lady heads that I was, drawing or painting, 6 months ago compared to now, that would be.
I'm going to put one on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to see the
before and
progression.
after.
Yeah. See, I'm asking this question because it'll be an interesting diary of sorts for you to listen back onto in a year when you're better than me.
Oh my goodness.
I want
Yeah.
to see your 50 Shades of Lady heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will show you, Katie.
Okay.
Well, I have a quick question
yeah, go
for
ahead.
Katie, because she had mentioned that she was like tattooing in your loft, you said, right? And then, so when you went back into a shop and you were tattooing in a shop, did you feel like by being around other people, you were learning, faster, or how did that change for you?
I'm not sure if I would say I was learning faster. I feel like that's an interesting way to put that. I don't know if that applies to the way that I learn or that anybody does, although if you can tell me how to do that, that would be fantastic. So the shop that I ended up working in, I have referred to on multiple occasions as a pirate ship. It was a bunch of different tattooers from different backgrounds, all thrown together to make money for someone who wasn't there. And we did a very good job at that, and also a very good job at just being functioning chaos in a fun way. But I just went from like only tattooing people that I had known word of mouth and like bringing them in, and my direct like associative individual outlet of people, then like kind of thrown into a walk-in shop in a pretty busy part of Brooklyn. And I think we were all kind of flying by the seat of our pants. There were people there who were tattooing a lot longer than me and who had also worked in shops, but I don't think that they really had any better idea of who they were or what they were doing either. So we were kind of just in, a pirate ship in a fun way. One thing that I've heard a lot of people hate on is Friday the 13th tattoos. And you could put a gun to my head and I would never do another one, at least in the vein of that. But we did 24 hours when we did them. And the first year that I was tattooing, there were 5 Friday the 13ths in a year. So I did 5 24-hour days of like not only painting the flash for it, but also like at one point towards the end, I think my total was 63 tattoos in one 24-hour period of 0 sleep and just like sheer willpower cranking through things. I'm not saying that I ever want to see any of these ever again, but it was a really important thing at the time for me to have not had the background of like getting shown how to do certain things. You just like repetitive, quick, get it done, get it out, like line work, shading, all the things. Like it was very much you're learning as you go and then you make it happen. And it was the repetition that I needed. Like instead of 50 flash sheets, it was one big flash sheet with like over hundreds of designs that I would just like paint and crank out, and then we would go nuts. And yeah, it was chaos.
Sometimes it's valuable to learn the ways that you never want to tattoo again.
Yeah, that is important.
What do you think, Kenley? You want to do 60 tattoos in a day?
I'd like to just do one. Actually, to start would be great.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'd like to start with one.
Okay.
Oh, she did say she wanted to fail, so
That's true. That is a surefire route to failure.
To only do one or to do 60
Even just one, probably, at this point.
would be a failure.
I failed a lot of tattoos, but that's another podcast. Let's talk about AI tattoos. But not yet.
What's next?
Well, I've got a list. Actually, you know what? Let's start with this. You mentioned before that anesthesia tattoos.
oh, the new.
Yes, so this is like a newer, since the last podcast I made, a fun, dumb internet tattoo thing that I've had people send to me probably 35 times in DMs on Instagram.
Yeah, the thing where people who have too much money and they don't actively know what to do with it, clearly.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, I think it's one shop in particular in Los Angeles, and there's an Instagram page, and they tattoo basically musicians, football players, people of status,
People with too much money.
people with some money to burn. And they're getting full back pieces or more or similar amounts of work in one session because they are getting knocked out in what looks like a surgery room, and then 5 or 6 tattooers will just all gather around and tattoo the shit out of them.
Who all look disturbingly exactly alike. At least the videos that I've been sent, like the same exact, all the things. Is it AI? Maybe the whole thing is generated. Maybe none of this is happening. Maybe the simulation is fucking with us.
What if the videos are AI?
I would feel better about it, honestly.
That would be awesome. I would actually love that.
I think that's going to be the rumor we should spread from here on out. Is anytime somebody says that, I'm like, that's fake news. That didn't actually happen.
I actually heard that it was AI.
Yeah, that's where we're starting this now.
Yeah. The thing that I think is interesting is that when you look at the work that's being done there, they're very good tattooers. It's all big black and gray stuff. To my eye, it looks very well done.
It is technically well done, but I think that you take a lot of the soul out of tattooing by the way that they go about that. I don't think there's so much in a scenario when you have a consultation and when you have several sessions and then you spend time and energy and patience and pain and all the things that go into a tattoo. You absolutely wreck what it means to go through that process by just bypassing it. It's fucking money. It's exactly like the soul of trade paper useless paper until you die. Like it's not a tattoo. I don't even have a good word for it at the moment, but I'm sure I'll come up with one when I'm not on fucking camera.
I feel like it's just the ultimate way to commodify a tattoo, where it becomes an item that you buy, it's applied to you, and you wake up and you feel like you got hit by a fucking bus.
Also, it's so unbelievably awful to do that to your body and to expect everything to heal in any way, the way that it's supposed to, by causing that much trauma all at the same time. Also, the whole point, one of the things about like most surgery is with being anesthetized, is that that costs more than the actual surgery because it's so dangerous, because you might not wake up, because the people who doing it need to take all these things into consideration, all these factors and blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
So what could these tattoos possibly cost?
Do you know?
No.
Interesting.
I'm sure somebody listening knows, and you can send me a message.
We would like to guess. I know that most of the time the anesthetic is easily 60% of the cost of most surgeries. And that's just paying the person doing it so you don't die. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Yeah, who knows? I feel like this is the closest thing that it'll ever get to anytime you've ever heard people be like, imagine if you had, the 3D printers. They're like, imagine if you had a robot that just 3D printed a tattoo on you really fast. I'm like, there's a million factors why, thankfully, that is not a thing that I think will ever happen. I think if it does, the human factor in just everything will always get in the way and wreck it, which, as it should. but that this is the closest to that if it is an actual thing.
I used to think the robot thing could never happen, but I think it definitely will happen.
It will, but I think that it's still going to. It's like the same thing when I'm sure you've seen those where they have the tattoos that disappear after a while. Like it's the same process. You get tattooed, you heal it, it's fine, and then it's supposed to fade over time.
Yep.
And that's been out for a few years now, and everyone is realizing that they just turn into even shittier tattoos. They don't fade because that's not how your skin works, and that's not how your body works. Mm-hmm. I think that whatever the robots have planned for us are not necessarily coming directly for us in general. I think just our entire lives surrounding tattooing, all of the supporting things like groceries and supplies, that's an issue. But I don't think tattooing itself is in the direct line of fire just yet.
Well, I'd like to go under anesthesia and have somebody grocery shop for me every week.
I back that. I would do that as well. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I would do that too.
Laundry, can we throw laundry in there?
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
if when I'm out, someone wants to throw a little shitty tattoo on me, I'll take that too. Because at that point, it's like you're already in so deep money-wise with everything else that a little tattoo, like it's another $100.
Well, when you start figuring out how to podcast while not actively being here, and then the money starts rolling in,
Well, it's like people who live stream themselves sleeping. That's kind of what that is.
that's a thing.
Yeah.
Why?
People. It's like parasocial relationships. People. Yeah. So what I really wonder, though, going back to the pricing of these tattoos, are you paying like an hourly rate times 6 people? I'm sure it's like a package price.
I would assume that it's probably one set price, like
Yeah.
a surgery. Like you know what you're like ahead of time. They explain to you what's going to happen in the surgery, and they hand you an itemized bill that's 90% bullshit, and it's just paying out the anesthetist. And then you said how many tattooers was in the one you saw?
I mean, it's like 5. If it's a full back piece on like a 7-foot tall NFL player in the off season, that's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, I don't know. My guess would be 40 grand, 30 grand,
I feel like more.
more.
I feel like if you factored in, okay, let's say it's 6 to 8 hours of tattooing and 5 people, whatever that would cost based on some astronomical hourly
I mean,
rate.
for me, that's like 200 grand. My rate is astronomical. So,
Yeah,
and I don't
nobody-
put people to sleep. I just make them not talk to me and face away, so I can't see the pain face.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was weird that you didn't do any tattoos here this weekend because nobody could afford it.
Or I figured out that Portsmouth just closes super, super early, and I was like, it's fine. I don't need money. I just need you to get in and then get out so I can eat something before 9 p.m.
Right. When I moved to New Hampshire, I was shocked by the fact that I couldn't do anything at night.
Yet you're still here.
Well, it's good. Once you get used to that, it's okay.
You
Once
get
you let
used to
that
it?
go. Yeah, I did.
No wonder you want to be put to sleep to grocery shop.
Yeah, because I have to go during the day. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if people are able to game it so they can bill insurance for it. Like, let's say it's in some medical office. I know that a lot of anesthesiologists, it's like a third-party private thing. So if you have a small practice for something, I know like a smaller dental office, sometimes they will hire, like they won't have someone on staff because it costs too much, but they will have someone who will come in, and then there's like a la carte kind of services that they do. So I'm assuming, based on nothing,
Based on no real information.
based on nothing, and I only even know what I just said because I tattooed someone that worked at a dental office, and she told me that they don't have anyone on staff. So I know that it is a business where you can say, I offer this, I will go wherever it is. So I'm sure it's whatever their price is, and then these tattoo people are charging a premium on top of that fee, and then they're charging a premium on their shit and knocking it out.
I guess a way that you could even figure it out is
Get the tattoo.
just do it. Just fucking do it. You're going to take out a loan.
Yeah.
You're going to get a back piece over. I'm assuming you already have one.
I'll get another one.
Yeah, you need to blast over that top layer.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, if they're in it, just be like, find a person to laser me and then tattoo right over the top of it.
Yeah, all in one session.
Because they obviously don't care how raw you are at the end anyway.
Well, if you let me borrow the money that you make from one small tattoo, then I think that'll cover it. And it's for research. And I promise I'll pay you back.
Can you do a backflip?
Yeah.
All right, maybe.
Yeah, I can't do that. So I think, I guess my last thing about that, I thought I didn't care about certain things anymore. like saying that you need to like experience a tattoo and stuff, but I still care. It makes a difference to me too.
It does. It makes a huge difference.
Well, I think that one of the things you guys are kind of talking about is like, and it's, I think, discussed a lot in tattooing is like earning things. Like whether that's talking about an apprenticeship, whether that's talking about getting a back piece. It's like, you know, if you get 6 people, if you're passed out, 6 people tattoo your whole back, part of you feels like they didn't like earn it or something. Like they didn't, where when like time, pain, money, all of those things go into tattooing.
Oh, they're paying the money.
Well, yeah, they have the money part down, but it's almost like the patience. Like you have to kind of go through the whole process.
Well, that's kind of the point, though, is the money is the least substantial part of it, and that's the part that that's the only thing that they're offering up to the situation. Like money in general, you know, our entire society is set up around it, and one of the reasons that it's collapsing in and upon itself is a lot of that. But the only thing of substance about getting tattooed and about having tattoos and about being part of it, they've fully removed from the entire scenario. Yeah, let's know. I would like to know the answer to that. That they're not allowed to bill insurance for it? Excellent. So they're not allowed to bill insurance for anesthesia.
No, doc, I need this tattoo.
It's your emotional support back piece.
Yeah. Well, people with a ton of money know how to skirt around money issues. So maybe there's a way.
Well, we just need to find a lawyer that likes real people, not, you know, and AI people.
Do you think that our feelings about this are based just because of our own experience?
I think that is how you could legitimately go about every single person on the planet's experience. Yeah, of course. But I think that the same thing going, like circling back to something of substance, like there's a reason that some things feel right. Truly, like on a visceral level, that is bullshit. And I think that anybody that has any life experience encountering other people would feel the same, even if you're not heavily tattooed. Like if you don't understand it, maybe, but any amount of people who do understand the why of all of this, it only makes sense that that's abhorrent.
Yeah, I guess at that point it's similar to getting like a shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
And no one walks down the street, they're like, oh, dude, look at that dude's fucking shoulder surgery. That is sick.
You
and
know,
you're like screenshotting a bunch of shoulder
you're
surgeries to show to your surgeon. You're like, can we like kind of do it like that?
If you're somebody who does shoulder surgeries, yes. Shoulder surgeries, that is absolutely something that they would do, but that's a very niche environment. So I guess that's probably what you're referring to, because we're submerged in all of it. It means more to us, but I think that it definitely surpasses that to an extent.
And it's definitely another one to add to the list of things that I've seen people online say, like, well, it's over now. Tattooing's done. Here we are.
Just hang up the towel?
Yeah. But I think that's silly because this is like serving, you know, probably 4 dozen people a year or less. Like it's not really.
In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't affect any of us as a whole.
But I do love those videos on their Instagram page.
I've only ever seen one, which is the one where they all look like clones of each other, and I've having had a handful of conversations surrounding it prior to the one today. The tattoo itself was technically a fine tattoo. It was a black and gray. I don't know. I don't even want to give voice to it because whatever it is doesn't matter.
Probably a lion head.
It wasn't not a lion head. But it was, the tattoo was fine. Technically, it was fine, but it's a technical, like they're technicians. They're no longer artists. And I think that when you take the lifeblood out of something, then you end up with a robot. So maybe that is the AI tattoos that we've been fearing in the future.
I wonder who draws it.
You think they actually draw it? No, they use a computer.
I mean, yeah, it seems like a lot of it is like realism stuff. So it is from a photo, but there's some design to it a little bit.
You think?
So who gets stuck with the 15 minutes of prep? They draw straws.
Probably. I mean, I don't know.
They're like, all right, well, I didn't draw it last time, so each of you get 21 grand for the session. I'll take 24.
Oh, you think they get paid more because they were able to map it out a little bit better?
It's important. That's heavy lifting. It's like a pit crew.
It is a pit crew. So the ones that are doing the tires are more important, or the ones who are topping off your oil is more important? Whoever sucks them off at the end is definitely getting paid a little more, because you know that that's part of it.
I mean, yeah, I have heard that. I heard that.
100%. I mean, we know that that's how it goes down.
If it is all AI video, you can make it end however you want. It's like a choose your own adventure.
I love those.
Yeah. Okay. We are getting out of control here. So let's talk about AI tattoo generators. But not yet. No, it's time.
Is this edging AI?
So I was just
I
searching.
always wondered how that was going to be.
Okay, on Huffington Post, there's an article from just days ago.
Reliable source.
AI tattoo generators are coming for tattoo artists, but the professionals aren't as concerned about it as you might think.
Is that us?
I think that's you.
I think that's us.
I think
Yeah,
that's you.
we're pros.
You're the professional. Yeah.
So let's see what it says here. Different software developers who've made these things. There's paid sites. Users set the parameters for what they want out of their dream tattoo, the objects and colors they want featured, the style they're going for, and AI spits out something that fits the bill.
That's going to be a thing that happens.
Has a client ever sent you an AI-generated reference?
Have you seen the type of tattoos that I make?
I mean, they'd be like, okay, they're on ChatGPT and they're like, I want a Zippo lighter.
I am now very curious as to what it would pop up with.
With a giant fat ass.
A giant. Well, I normally when anybody asks me for a Zippo, I'm like, do you want T or A? And that's about it. Or X, Y, and Z. Any of the other iterations. Do you censor this? Is this a thing? The first time I said fuck, I was like, should I not say this? He'll bleep it out.
No, it's okay. We're all adults here.
Are we?
We're amongst friends.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, so if I were to type in the parameters of the things, barbed wire, topless lady, Zippo,
Squirt,
always a little squirt. Is it pee? Squirt.
Yeah, I would be interested.
I mean, it could be pee, yeah.
It would probably say cannot compute. Because all this AI shit, it won't give you the good stuff ever.
That is an unfortunate constant reminder since I've been shadow banned the entire time I've been on Instagram.
Do you think shadow banning is real?
Yeah, I know it's real. It is very real, and it's a huge pain in the ass. And the way that the algorithm finds you in the things that you are interested in, if you are not paying them a substantial amount of money, everything gets kind of pushed to the wayside. It doesn't deter me. I'm still going to fully be the individual that I am proudly and loudly being. But
Kenley, go ahead, tell her. This is what you get.
I'm supposed to say that? I don't think so.
Is this him teaching you?
Yeah, no, I can't.
No. I just didn't have the heart to say it myself.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for passing that one off.
So what do you do? Where does that leave you since the internet is important?
I mean, I make it work the best that I can. And the way that I do that is I have no notifications on for anything, and I try to ignore it as much as possible.
It seems like the right clients find you still.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Like the people that find me, in my experience, are really genuinely wonderful people. I've had very few encounters in the last, since I started, I got to a point in tattooing where I realized that I could say no to things. And it was probably way past the point that I should have started saying no to things. And as soon as I started doing that, it changed a great deal of my perspective and my outlook, because I got past the point of just cutting my teeth and being functioning, well-rounded tattooer who is able to do a lot of different things. I was like, I don't have to do all this bullshit anymore. I don't have to tattoo a realistic lion on anybody. Hopefully the last person I did that on isn't listening to this podcast. But
the one you did with 4 of your best friends at that doctor's office?
No, I had to, this was not that long ago, I had to describe to a grown man the difference between a male and a female lion after we had gone through a consultation. And it was a very entertaining experience, but I did end up tattooing lions on him, and I don't think I'll ever do that ever again. But prior to that person, it's been years since I've had to deal with anybody that's even asked me to do something that I'm not like pretty stoked on.
Yeah.
And that's important. I enjoy that.
Definitely. I think the lion as a tattoo image is overrated.
Yes.
It's all fur.
It is. It's the main event. Oh, so we have an anesthesiologist on board for this. Did he say how much he would charge for it?
You guys are the best audience ever.
Yeah, we have a great peanut gallery.
We have 6 people here right now.
Wait,
we just
300
get
an
this
hour?
guy here.
300
Okay.
an hour?
$300 an hour from an anesthesiologist working at a hospital.
He paid 40 grand for his own back?
You know it was 40 grand? Oh, it's on Google. I don't know if I believe that.
Googleable.
You think it's less or more, Andrew?
Honestly,
I really don't know.
that was my guess. What do I win?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said. I said 30 or 40 grand.
No, you did. Yeah.
I didn't
good
even do that
guess.
on purpose.
Sounds like you fucking work there. You want to tell us something that you're...
Pull me out.
Confession. It's confession
Where'd
time.
team go? Pull me out.
We got him.
My spot's been blown up. All right, so we know that it's 30 to 40 grand. We know that her homie will do it for $300 an hour.
And we have 6 people here right now.
There's 6 people here right now. At least a third of us can.
So $300 an hour is what this person receives to do the work? Or that's what is billed?
I think that's what he's offering us.
Okay. Out of a hospital. Well, I think it is like a medical facility. They probably have to have some sort of medical director on staff for this tattoo operation. Right. And is that separate from the anesthesia team? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you better know how to use it. Right.
That's also what she said.
Well, now knowing that, I actually think it's pretty cool.
I think getting anesthesia and a tattoo suit would be cool as fuck.
Cool AF.
Whatever, nerd. Thanks for the info. So $300 an hour, honestly, for that, I thought it would be more somehow.
I mean, if
I
it's
would
only
assume.
$300 an hour, then who's getting like the 39 grand?
Yeah, that's probably insurance.
I have a video to show you.
Right now? Let's see it.
It's called... This actually isn't going to be valuable for this at all. It's just funny.
Even better.
It's called I'm 60% covered in M&M tattoos.
The candy or the wrapper?
Exactly.
We're talking mom's spaghetti. I don't know how I'm going to show it to anybody.
I honestly don't know which one he's referring to still.
The wrapper. No. I'll just come over, Katie, and show it to you.
Hooked on the look.
The one that sort of started the big.
That's it? That's all I get?
So what was it? I missed it.
lot
What was
of-
the video?
A lot of
There was no point. I just thought that was a funny title. I had it written down. I'm 60% covered in M&M tattoos.
Honestly, I would be the same amount of fascinated if it was the candy as opposed to, what'd you call it, the paschetti machete?
Yeah.
Spaghetti machete?
Nana's pochetti.
Nana's, yeah. Bucatini.
Oh, God.
I love that this has gone way further off the rails than I had anticipated, and I,
mean, this is-
appreciate that. I like
yeah.
that.
It's more fun this way, I think. Okay.
Does that mean I can show you a video and get your take on it?
Yeah. Do you have anything prepared for the class? You can think about it.
I should probably think about it rather
Okay.
than just going with my initial gut reaction.
You don't want to shoot from the hip?
I mean, usually when I shoot for the hip, it tends to be its own amount of chaos. I do that most. I'm getting flagged down. Oh, the bathtub question. Yeah, but it's not directly tattoo related. All right. Andrew,
Yeah.
if you could be in a bathtub of anything, technically for any length of time, but, however long you would want to be in a bathtub, anything in the world, but there are no consequences and no repercussions. You can't take anything with you, and whatever happens in the bathtub stays in the bathtub. So if it's something that's painful, maybe if you want to get anesthetized and had a back piece done, you would leave, you would have no back piece, but you would have the experience of this not experience. If you could it could be anything, a bathtub full of anything, what would it be?
World peace. No, that's a lie.
Oh my goodness.
I actually have a true answer. It would be a bathtub full of valid credit cards, and I would just order a bunch of shit while I was in the tub.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter because once you left the tub, all of that
No, I would leave the credit cards there
Yeah, but anything that
run
happened
it up.
in the bathtub
and run it up.
is gone.
Amazon.
So you just want the experience of shopping, but nothing that comes from it afterwards?
No, I think that I'm outsmarting this.
No, it's not how it works.
All right.
You
let me
can't bring
think
it with
about
you.
this.
You can't bring anything with you, but nothing doesn't matter. No consequence.
Do you have a good answer for this? And don't say it yet if you do.
I mean, I have my original answer, and then I have the answer that I came to after that.
I think, honestly, it would be like puppies or something.
I mean, puppies sound amazing.
Like a tub full of
You're
puppies.
not diving into the puppies, right? You're just
No,
like
no, I would-
sliding gently
I
into
would
them.
slither in with care.
Or you could be in the bathtub, and then the puppies could then be put on top of you.
Do I have to be naked?
No, you can
Okay.
you can go about
it's,
it.
it's
at
your fantasy.
I get weird being naked around dogs. So I don't want to be like I don't want to be submerged in puppies. I wouldn't want to put them through it.
You could be in clothing, your bathing
Yeah.
suit. You could be. I mean, honestly, you could do like a Willy Wonka suit. I feel like that'd be kind of cool.
I'll probably have like a light jacket on.
Is it cold? Not covered in puppies. You're gonna get warm.
I'm gonna get the chills. I get goosebumps.
Really?
Yeah.
So puppies intimidate you.
No, it's like a good feeling. It's like when you're warm and cold at the same time because you have chills, but you're like warm inside and fulfilled.
I feel like I just learned something new about you.
So what is your answer?
I'm about to. No, I need to know. Kenley,
Yeah, I mean, I have
what's the
no
answer?
idea why, and I think if I thought about this for even a minute, it would be a different answer. But
She'd be in a bathtub full of Reiki
my
masters.
gut reaction was gumballs.
I mean, that's a great one. my original
Gumballs.
response was rainbow boba because I love the idea of it having the smell and the texture because I'm for sure on the spectrum. And I'm like, imagine the feel of sliding into like the little whatevers, but then it smells nice. But then, you're not
That's kind of
sticky-
you're
you're
similar
not
to my
sticky
gumball answer,
afterwards.
I think. I think that's like the same. It was like a scent and a texture thing.
So we're both similarly on the spectrum. But then I changed mine because Jared, who is also present with us today, gave me my favorite answer, which is a bathtub full of cum. And I think that would be,
What would you do with it? Just look at it?
if I'm in it. I mean, it could be, there's a lot of different responses that could go with that.
You heard
but
it here first, folks.
bathtub full of cum. The best part about that is I changed my Wi-Fi to bathtub full of cum. And after this whole conversation that we had one day randomly in the world, and at one point being in New York, having had somebody come through to fix my broken Wi-Fi and very nonchalantly be fully fine with it. And then, oh, fuck, what was his... We like had a whole conversation about it back and forth because he didn't question it at first. He was just like, okay, this makes perfect sense. I don't know why it would be anything different. Also not at all surprised because I'm mildly intimidated. Your house is full of weapons and there's a sledgehammer by your door.
He was like, where is it?
That would have been the best possible question to come out of this person, but no. What was it? What's the CP, ICP? Not ICP. ICP is different. What's the computer thing?
ICP.
That's the computer thing? The family.
Insane computer posse.
That is AI. Actually, that's what you should type in.
Yeah.
No, I fucked it up because I can't remember what it was because I can't remember whatever the short term for whatever fucking computer shit, which has CP, and he had a pun that had to do with him and his girlfriend seeing pee or being peed on.
Oh, he had jokes.
He did. He had jokes. That's what this boils down to.
Was
I
it-
don't have jokes because my recall is for shit.
ICUP? Is that what you're thinking?
iCup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
IPS? You know, we're gonna have to cut this whole thing out because
No, I like where this is going. I think for people seeking truth about tattooing, this is going to help them get there.
are there people that aren't tattooing listening to this podcast?
Surprisingly, yeah. I don't know why. I think it's boring.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
All at the same time.
Those are my business cards, actually.
Sometimes I wonder if I wasn't here, if I would want to listen to this.
You would.
I think I might.
Yeah.
I mean, with you guys, of course.
All right.
So what else is on your list?
I've got another video for you.
Another one? How are you going to top Eminem?
It's called Bathtub Full of Cum.
I hate to break it to you, but that one's already pulled up in my phone.
It's a live stream from my grandma's house.
Maybe not the same live stream that I'm on.
She can't figure out how to open the drain. It's sad, but she streams it for some reason. She makes like $1 million a year.
You know, it's there's the age-old question: is it pee or is it squirt? Does it matter?
I did have on my list about TATTOOGATE, which I mentioned to you earlier, and you hadn't heard about, Katie.
Yes, this is true. I'm a little skeptical, although the things that you presented me with thus far, how much worse could it get?
I don't know if I even want to get into it.
So you're going to gatekeep TATTOOGATE?
No. Let me pull up an article. I feel like TATTOOGATE excited me. There hadn't been good tattoo drama on the internet for a while. I feel like there used to be good stuff.
What was the good stuff? What did you miss?
We remember Everence. That was like years-long
I
fodder.
legitimately, until right now, well, I would say consistently, but it wasn't consistent because I haven't thought about it in a while. But I definitely thought it was Evanescence.
Yeah, great band.
Everence?
Sometimes I don't know which is which. Which one's the band?
Severance?
Yeah, I don't know.
Avenge Severance Fold?
Let me try to put TATTOOGATE to you plainly. This might be old news to some of you listening, but I figure if Katie hadn't heard about it, then there's got to be a bunch of you that haven't heard about it either. It was born on TikTok, like every worthwhile piece of information. The short of it is a woman went to a tattooer, and the woman that was tattooing her, or who was supposed to tattoo her, was charging what the client thought was a massive amount of money. See, this is kind of a theme tonight. We're talking about very expensive tattoo procedures.
What the client thought was massive amounts of money. Was it not discussed prior to getting the tattoo?
So it was. And the way it worked, she took a deposit of $180 Canadian.
That's not real.
And then, yeah, it was probably all coins. And then also $1,000 for a design and consultation fee. That's not the deposit. So you're like, to talk to me about your tattoo idea, it's going to be $1,000.
But it's a $180 deposit
Yeah, I don't get it.
and a $1,000.
Fee for my time.
I mean, that would be fantastic, but
I know.
why 100? I don't know. The numbers are very strange.
I feel like almost maybe the deposit, the 180, was like an artifact from an old process. Like she used to charge 180. Now she's like, I'm going to get the 1,000 for the consult.
She kept it for nostalgia purposes.
But we'll keep it. She was just copy paste to her emails. Copy paste. I already got the 180 in there. I don't know how to delete it. My delete key's broken.
Is it a typo?
Times are tough. I need $1,000 for a new keyboard.
Okay.
So they do a consultation. Now the tattooer presents her with a 3-tiered option. 3 tiers, 3 different options for how do we want to approach your tattoo designing process.
Like a wedding cake?
Correct. One's chocolate, one's vanilla, one is...
Red velvet.
I was thinking more bathtub full of cum.
I mean, I'm in.
No, so tier 1, $1,500. That's, you tell me what you want, basically. I design it. You cannot change anything.
Okay.
And this is a design fee. This is on top of whatever the hourly rate is, which was probably a couple $100 an hour. So this is just money.
But we don't know what the rate is. If she's charging $1,000 fee, is her rate exorbitant as well?
I don't think the rate is that crazy compared to it. I feel like these big numbers come from what I read.
Isn't this how a pyramid scheme works?
I think that's different.
I mean, I don't have any experience to draw from it, but it sounds like a tattoo pyramid scheme.
The pyramid scheme would say, you want to get tattooed by me? You need to get 3 of your friends to get tattooed by me. And there's more to it than that.
I like
but
where
it's
this
like
is
that.
going, though. I think can we do that?
But that's kind of how it works, though. You do a nice tattoo on someone, and then you start tattooing their friends. Maybe we're doing pyramid schemes, and we need to get a lawyer.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
maybe
subtle
I
pyramid
feel like we should reverse this and be like, you want to get tattooed by me? Bring me 3 of your friends. I'll tattoo them, and then I'll tattoo you.
Well, I think the true pyramid scheme is that you're getting people to buy into a thing that doesn't actually profit. So it's sustained by getting the next people and the next people and the next people.
So we're about to start a tattoo pyramid scheme?
We'll talk about that after we record.
Worship tattoo. I mean, I've been trying to start a cult for a while, so I feel like this is a good beginning.
This is a good place. So anyway, her
Copyrighted.
tiers, $1,500 for no changes, $3,500. You can be like, the flower's a little big, and she's like, I got you, $3,500. Then tier 3, you get to make maybe a couple changes, $6,000. This is after
Is this real?
This is real.
This happened. So
How do we know this happened?
So she was already, so she chose tier 1, $1,500, because she said it on TikTok.
Clearly.
So this client, she chose tier 1 because she already thought, shit, this is getting a lot more expensive than I expected. And this is before any tattooing's happening.
6,000 is the top?
Is the top. She chose the lowest one because she sent her reference. She had, I don't know if she'd been tattooed by her. She'd heard good things. She was referred by friends. She felt confident that the tattooer would give her what she
And
wanted.
the friends had gone through the same experience.
Possibly. I might have just made that up.
I feel like this is the pyramid scheme talking. I
Maybe
think that her friends were like, yeah, we got tattooed by this person. You got to go here. And they're like, we want to get tattooed by them. But
You know what? You're probably right. She probably didn't have friends that got tattooed by her
she
because
probably
they
doesn't
would
have
have learned.
friends. She's on TikTok.
She has followers.
Different.
So she chose tier 1. So at this point, she's $2,695 deep. And this is before she even pays for 1 minute of tattooing. 1 minute. So this tattooer shows her the drawing. It's bad.
I hate to say that I probably could have told you that before you told me that.
Yeah, I was floored.
It's
I figured it would be a very talented and respectable artist that was doing this.
Can we? I mean, I don't mean to rush you through this, but did
No,
she
I'm
get the
right.
tattoo?
She did not.
She did not.
She pulled the parachute after being almost 3,000 deep. And then the sketch that she got was nothing of what she asked for. And
Can I ask what the tattoo was?
it was a fox.
Okay.
And she had included I think it was 2 references of very beautiful tattoos, like illustrative, colorful.
Already made tattoos.
Well done. Yeah, well done tattoos, but indicating the pose, the kind of stuff that she wanted. It was a full body. It was like a cool pose. And the artist had drawn like, I think it was a profile of a fox head, the lazy way.
The lazy way.
And so it wasn't what she wanted. And then when she said, this isn't what I asked for, I was hoping for this, this, and this, she said, okay, well, that'll be, another $2,000 or something to up you to the next tier or to like do a change fee. She had this whole pricing structure for all these things.
I'm assuming the person getting tattooed has never had an experience in a tattoo shop before, or
I'm not sure.
There's a lot of different factors that could go into this scenario, but also it just seems ignorant to think that you would continue along this path and why you would get tricked into such a pyramid scheme. Because I feel like the first time somebody's like $1,600 to make one change, and that's not even applied to what is happening.
It's a lot.
It's
So she stopped. She didn't get the tattoo, and then she got a little bit of tood from the artist.
you mean this person that's charging? What was the total? What was the chocolate layer? 6,000. That person got a little spicy when they didn't get their $6,000.
I bet nobody ever paid her $6,000 for this.
I would really hope that you're right, but unfortunately, the world is maddeningly stupid.
But without even having to do this tattoo, she did a quick sketch, and it was like an iPad sketch. Like, it was equivalent to what you would do in like 5 minutes to like figure out a layout before you do any refining, any detail
a rough
at all.
sketch.
$1,500, like what you would sketch on the drape sheet with a marker when somebody is 35 seconds late to their appointment.
Yeah.
$1,500. How are we going to get that money? But it's interesting. So she didn't even do the tattoo. So she made off with $2,695 for nothing.
She kept the money?
She kept it. She wouldn't refund her. So this woman went to TikTok. And this is a woman who had like 200 followers. She's not a tattoo person. She's not an internet person. She's just a person, just a normal client. And so it blew up. And this client didn't name the artist. She told her story. She just wanted to get it off her chest.
And this still has the artist not been named still?
Oh, she was named quick.
Oh, okay.
Real quick.
So I'm assuming she's done this multiple times.
A lot. So people started coming out of the woodwork, and this.
Do we even know if she actively tattoos? Maybe she's just figured out the biggest scam ever, so she doesn't have to tattoo when people bail.
She's more of a deposit artist.
Ooh.
A deposit engineer. She engineers a scenario in which you give her a deposit, and then
Deposit
you decide.
technician, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of genius because if somebody's gonna fucking pay you that money, it's yeah. There's a saying, and this may a saying that it comes to mind every now and then. Thankfully, is not in mind at all times. But if you've ever heard, and I'm sure you have, you usually get the tattoo you deserve. Sometimes you don't get the tattoo.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the version of the tattoo that she deserved. I don't know.
I think that might have been it, especially considering whatever was happening with it. Did she know about this pyramid pricing?
Allegedly.
This alleged
It was
wedding cake. Did she know that was where it was going to go prior to entering into this?
You're familiar with a blooming onion?
Like at Roadhouse?
Mm-hmm. So layer by layer, you enjoy the process. So it was not fully laid out. She didn't get a spreadsheet at first where she could add it up.
No spreadsheets, clearly.
No. So it was like, oh yeah, it's going to be $180 deposit and then $1,000 for your consultation. And she's like, okay, pays it.
She said okay for
Well,
the
she pays it.
consultation.
If I was getting tattooed, even being experienced as a tattoo getter and giver, if it was someone I wanted to get tattooed
Technical
by,
terms.
and they said, yeah, it's going to be $1,180, I'd be like, it's not how I do it, but okay, that's fine. Not expecting, or in my wildest dreams would I ever think that I'd be in for thousands more for design fees. I've never heard of that in my entire life.
No, I mean, that's somebody definitely trying to apply what's the like graphic design scenarios. I think that's how a lot of their pricing works, but even then, probably not to that extent.
So who's at fault? What's your hot take? Client or artist? Give it to him. Give it to him cold.
What if I want it warm? What if I get that hot, cold feeling like when you slide into a bathtub full of puppies? It's a little bit of both.
At this point, I can't say that you're not allowed to do that.
I set this up like this on purpose.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was kind of a gotcha moment.
Callbacks. I will say that I think that they both got what they deserved. If you're going to pay that kind of money without knowing anything about what you're getting yourself into, and that sucks, but also, just fucking bite the bullet, and good for you for taking it to your entire friend group on TikTok and now turning it into something that I fully don't understand, but can laugh about. And whoever it is doing the tattoos, or whoever it is that is pretending to do the tattoos, if you made out with some money, you figured out a great scam. And if you get caught, you get whatever you deserve in that, including like a noogie, or like what's the thing where they put your head in the toilet? A wedgie.
Swirly.
Swirly, yeah. You're going to get an epic swirly.
A wet willy.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah, it's gross.
Ugh.
So you heard it here, folks. Katie said, sucks to suck.
That's what I said. Can we just edit the rest of it out? Because this honestly sucks to suck really was what it boils down to.
Well, I don't know how we can really top that one.
Also, though, you said TATTOOGATE. I the only other gate that I know, I mean, there's the Watergate, which is like not a very well-known one. But there's Pizzagate, which I think was trafficking children out of the back of a pizza shop.
Yeah, so I think TATTOOGATE is kind of like a dramatic title for what this is. Because when I said, have you heard about TATTOOGATE? You're like, who was killed, who was abducted?
No, I said who is farming children through arm wires on Wayfair, thank you.
Yeah.
Wayfair.
Luckily, no one, because it's hard to have fun with that kind of topic on the internet.
Also, let us know what you would be in a bathtub full of, because I keep forgetting there's a camera right here, so who fucking knows?
Hopefully it's still on.
I hope it's not.
Tell. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching and listening. This one really, really went well. And I'll say,
Is this?
well, I had fun, actually. I really did have a lot of fun, and it felt fast because we've been doing this for 1 hour and 22 minutes, if you can believe it.
Wow. Can you afford my hourly?
I definitely can't. So that's why I'm trying to wrap this up because
You better work on that backflip.
Yeah. It's not going to end well. Kenley,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenley.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being you.
Yeah, thank you.
And, yeah. All right. I'll have links for everybody in the description here. Katie, thank you very much. It was nice to see you this weekend, and we will, I don't know. We'll probably never do this again, but maybe.
No, we do want.
Well, no,
we want you back.
Yeah, come back to the shop
Come
anytime.
back.
Yeah, I'll come back to the shop. I don't know about all of this.
Okay, that's all. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
See you next time.
It's me, baby. I really.
Thank you one last time to our sponsors of this episode, Tattoo Dream, Black Dagger Books, and DOS M.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week for a very special episode with the one, the only,
Yeah.
Philip Liu.
It's